In the heart of Vatican City, on a frost-kissed November morning, the world gathers to mourn. The sky above St. Peter's Square is a somber gray, heavy with clouds that seem to bow in reverence. Tens of thousands of pilgrims, dignitaries, and mourners stand shoulder to shoulder, their breath visible in the chilly air, their eyes fixed on the simple wooden coffin at the center of the square. It is the funeral of Pope Francis, a man whose humility and compassion touched hearts across the globe. The air carries the faint scent of incense, mingling with the crisp bite of winter, and the distant toll of bells echoes like a heartbeat through the ancient city. At the edges of the square, standing as sentinels of tradition, are the Swiss Guards, clad in their iconic blue, red, and yellow uniforms, their halberds gleaming in the muted light. They are more than soldiers. They are living monuments to loyalty and discipline. For centuries, they have stood watch over the Vatican. Their presence, a symbol of unwavering devotion to the Church. To move, to falter, to break formation is unthinkable. As their commander warned before the ceremony, if a guard steps out of line, it is a disgrace to the Holy See. But on this day, one guard will defy that sacred rule, not out of rebellion, not out of carelessness, but because his heart, guided by a higher calling, demands it. His name is Lucas Bowman, a 37-year-old sergeant in the Pontifical Swiss Guard. Born in the quaint town of Lucerne, Switzerland, Lucas grew up in a family of watchmakers, where time was measured with surgical precision. His father, a stern but kind man, taught him that every tick of a clock, every turn of a gear, held meaning. Every detail matters, he would say, his hands steady as he crafted intricate timepieces. True elegance lies in the smallest moments. Those words shaped Lucas, molding him into a man who sees the world through a lens of meticulous care and quiet purpose. For 14 years, Lucas has served the Vatican without a single blemish on his record. He has stood guard during papal audiences, escorted cardinals through the labyrinthine halls of the Apostolic Palace, and faced down unruly crowds with a calm resolve that earned him the respect of his peers. His comrades describe him as a rock unshakable, dependable, a man who embodies the Swiss Guard's motto, Aculis Fidelis, fiercely faithful. But beneath his polished exterior, beneath the starched collar and gleaming breastplate, Lucas carries a secret that weighs heavier than his armor. Tucked against his chest, hidden inside his uniform, is a letter. Its edges are worn, its paper yellowed with age. But the words written in a familiar, elegant script are as vivid as the day they were penned. It is a letter from Pope Francis himself, a relic of a moment that changed Lucas forever. And today, as he stands in the shadow of St. Peter's Basilica, that letter burns against his heart, urging him toward a choice that could alter the course of his life. The square is a sea of black mourners, draped in coats and scarves, their faces etched with grief. Cardinals in scarlet robes move with measured steps, their heads bowed in prayer. The choir's voices rise in a haunting Latin hymn, the notes weaving through the air like threads of light in the darkness. The coffin, simple and unadorned, rests on a modest platform, a testament to Francis's humility. A single wooden cross lies atop it, its grain worn smooth by years of devotion. The world watches, from the pilgrims in the square to the millions tuning in via screens across the globe. United in this moment of farewell, Lucas stands at his post, his halberd held at precisely the correct angle, his posture flawless. The cold seeps through his boots, numbing his toes. But he doesn't flinch. His training has prepared him for these hours of standing motionless, days of drilling, under the watchful eyes of his superiors, years of learning to suppress discomfort, doubt, even thought itself. To be a Swiss Guard is to become a statue, a symbol, a guardian of something greater than oneself. But as the hymn swells, as the mourners' prayers rise like whispers to the heavens, Lucas feels something stir within him, a memory, a promise, A call. Years ago, on a sweltering summer day in Rome, Lucas had broken protocol. It was a minor incident, or so it seemed at the time. A child, no older than 5, had wandered away from her mother in the chaotic press of a papal audience. The crowd was restless, the heat oppressive, and the little girl's cries were swallowed by the din. Lucas, stationed at the edge of the square, saw her stumble, her small face streaked with tears. His orders were clear. Remain at his post. Maintain the dignity of the guard. But as he watched her, alone and frightened, something inside him snapped. He stepped forward, leaving his position, and scooped the girl into his arms. The crowd parted, stunned by the sight of a Swiss guard breaking formation. He carried her to a nearby security post, where her mother, frantic with relief, enveloped them both in a tearful embrace. The incident lasted mere minutes, but it was a violation of the guard's strict code. Lucas braced for punishment, a reprimand, a demotion, perhaps even dismissal. Instead, he was summoned to a private meeting with Pope Francis himself. The memory floods back now, vivid and sharp. The Pope's study was modest, its walls lined with books and a single crucifix. Francis, dressed in his simple white cassock, looked at Lucas not with anger, but with a warmth that disarmed him. "You moved when you were told to stand still," the Pope said, his voice gentle but firm. "Do you know why you did it?" Lucas hesitated, searching for the right words. "Because she needed help, Your Holiness. I couldn't just watch." Francis smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Exactly. Sometimes the holiest thing we can do is act when the world demands we stay still. Faith is not a statue, Lucas. It is a living, breathing force. Never forget that." Before Lucas left, Francis handed him a letter, sealed with the Vatican's crest. "Keep this," he said. "Read it when you need to remember who you are." Lucas had opened it later, alone in his barracks, and the words had seared themselves into his soul. They were personal, profound, a reminder of the balance between duty and compassion, between tradition and humanity. He has carried the letter ever since, a talisman against the rigidity of his role. Now, standing before Francis's coffin, those words echo in his mind like a bell tolling in the fog. Sometimes, the holiest thing we can do is act. The hymn reaches its crescendo, the choir's voices soaring to a note that seems to pierce the heavens. The cardinals step forward, preparing for the final blessing. The mourners hold their breath, the weight of the moment pressing down on every soul in the square. And Lucas knows, with a clarity that cuts through the cold, that this is his moment. He moves one step. The cobblestones are slick beneath his boots, but his stride is steady. 2 steps. The crowd gasps, a ripple of shock spreading through the square. 3 steps. His halberd remains at his side, his posture still that of a soldier, but his eyes are fixed on the coffin. The world seems to slow, the sounds of the choir and the murmurs of the crowd fading into a distant hum. All that exists is Lucas, the coffin, and the letter burning against his chest. He stops before the platform, his breath visible in the icy air. The cardinals pause, their hands raised in mid-blessing, their eyes wide with astonishment. The Swiss guards at their posts turn their heads, breaking their own protocol to watch. Lucas reaches into his uniform, his fingers brushing the worn paper of the letter. He pulls it free, its Vatican seal catching the faint light. With a reverence that borders on prayer, he places it on the coffin, just below the wooden cross. "For your final journey," he whispers in Swiss German, his voice barely audible but heavy with meaning. The moment lasts only 28 seconds, but it is a lifetime. The square is silent, the weight of Lucas's action settling over the crowd like a sacred vow. No one moves, no one speaks. Even the wind seems to hold its breath, as if the Vatican itself is watching, waiting, bearing witness. The cardinal leading the ceremony, a stern man with silver hair, adjusts his step, his movement slower, more deliberate. As if acknowledging the letter's presence, the choir resumes. Their voice is softer now, a gentle farewell rather than a triumphant declaration. The mourners, many with tears in their eyes, watch as the coffin is lifted, the letter still resting atop it, a quiet testament to a bond between a soldier and a shepherd. Lucas returns to his post, his heart pounding but his conscience clear. He knows what he has done. He knows the consequences that await. But as he stands once more among his comrades, he feels a peace he has not known in years. He has honored the man who saw his heart, who trusted him to act when the moment demanded it. The aftermath is swift. By evening, Lucas is summoned to the office of his commander, Colonel Reinhard Voss. The room is austere, its walls adorned with portraits of past commanders, their eyes seeming to judge him from across the centuries. Voss, a man of iron discipline, sits behind a mahogany desk, his hands folded tightly. "You broke formation," he says, his voice cold. "During the funeral of a pope, in front of the world. Explain yourself." Lucas stands at attention, his gaze steady. "Sir, I acted out of respect for His Holiness. He gave me a letter years ago and asked me to carry it. Today, I felt it was right to return it to him, to honor his journey." Voss's eyes narrow. "A letter. You risked the reputation of the guard for a piece of paper." "It wasn't just paper, sir," Lucas says, his voice calm but firm. "It was a reminder of what he taught me, that faith is not just in standing still, but in moving when it matters most." The room is silent, the tension thick. Voss leans back, studying Lucas, as if seeing him for the first time. Finally, he speaks. "You will no longer serve in ceremonial duties. Your actions, however well-intentioned, cannot be overlooked." Lucas nods, accepting the verdict. He expected nothing less, but Voss continues, his tone softening. "However, you will not be dismissed. Instead, you are reassigned to the Apostolic Archives. You will guard the Church's history, its secrets, in the quiet places where few are trusted to tread." Lucas blinks, caught off guard. The Apostolic Archives are the Vatican's most sacred repository. A labyrinth of manuscripts, relics, and records dating back centuries. To serve, there is not a punishment, it is a privilege, a role reserved for those deemed worthy of the Church's deepest trust. He bows his head, a wave of gratitude washing over him. "Thank you, sir." As he leaves the office, the Vatican is quiet, the mourners gone, the square empty save for a few flickering candles left in tribute. Lucas walks through the colonnades, his boots echoing in the stillness. He thinks of the letter, now sealed with Francis's coffin, and of the words that will guide him for the rest of his life. He thinks of Lucerne, of his father's workshop, of the clocks that taught him to cherish every moment. And he thinks of the Church, not as a fortress of rules, but as a living testament to compassion, courage, and faith. In the days that follow, whispers of Lucas's actions spread. Some call him reckless, a blemish on the guard's honor. Others call him a hero, a man who dared to show the world that faith is not rigid, but alive. The Vatican does not comment, but the letter remains untouched, a silent acknowledgement of its significance. Lucas begins his new duties in the archives, his uniform replaced by simpler attire, his halberd by a quiet vigilance. He walks among ancient scrolls and dusty tomes, guarding the Church's past, while carrying its future in his heart. Lucas Bowman did not break tradition that day. He redefined it. He reminded the Vatican and the world why tradition exists, not to bind us, but to guide us toward a deeper truth. His story is a testament to the power of a single act, a single moment, a single heart willing to move when the world demands stillness. And so, we ask you, if you witnessed someone break the rules for the sake of compassion, would you stand still or would you step toward them? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what you would choose. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to never miss another story of courage, faith, and humanity. Together, let's keep these moments alive.